Hi guys, so today's video is going to be week 3 of the Mistborn read-along. I'm just so excited because we're so close. We're so close to the end, and knowing everything that's about to happen, it's starting to get real emotional for me. I'm going to post the results from the opinions in the polls from last week right over here, so those will pop up on the screen as I'm talking, which those will probably be more interesting than what I have to say anyway. But the first thing that I want to talk about is a really significant event, maybe the most significant event in this chunk of the read-along, and that would be the fact that our dummy Eden decided, oh, I'm gonna let our soldiers get some experience, and he just basically freaking ruined their army. Whenever I think back on Mistborn, or whenever I am really sucked into the hole that is the 17th Shard, which is this online thing where people talk about Sanderson books, I often am like, wait, why can't I ever remember who Eden is? And then rereading this book, I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, because I blocked his stupidity from my memory. He was so dumb. I can't believe he did that. And rereading it again this time, I was more infuriated than I was the first time. The first time I was like, oh no, that sucks. And this time I'm like, you idiot. I'm actually going to ask my first question for this chunk, and that is, do you think Eden should have had his own perspective? The reason I'm asking this question is because it was so stupid. It was such a dumb decision. And I just felt that those who didn't accompany him and stayed behind and then kind of provided Kelsier with some insight as to why Eden decided to do that, their reasons, or Eden's reasons and the reasons that were being relayed to Kelsier, were kind of flimsy. I don't mean flimsy in that Sanderson's a terrible writer and this didn't make any sense. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying maybe if I had been with Eden and I could have been in his mind and I could have understood why he thought this was a good idea, I would have felt a little bit worse. But it was really hard for me to feel, I mean, I feel awful that all those people died, of course. I know they're fictional, so I don't feel that bad. But I don't know. I didn't understand. I just couldn't understand how that was even close to being a good idea, and therefore it made it less tragic for them. It was, you know what? It didn't even make me feel that bad for Kelsier, because Kelsier feels all this guilt, and all I can think is, it's really not your fault. Something I found really interesting, though, was that we finally see the Lord Ruler after this. So there's that huge execution, which is very tragic, very sad. It opens the eyes of our characters that this is more than just us. We need to put an end to the Final Empire for people, not for riches. And I really love that. But we finally see the Lord Ruler. We see our enemy. We've been talking about this person. We've been reading journal entries. We have talked about the fact that there's obviously negative consequences as a result of this person's reign, but we don't really see them until now. And I just think that that was such a fascinating decision, that you don't see this person early on, you don't have interactions with them early on, you get the Steel Inquisitors, you get the Obligators, you see what can be done, we have fight scenes with them, but we don't get any of the Lord Ruler really until now. And I really love that we're kind of getting closer to the end, and we're, for the first time, really seeing our enemy. I thought that was really interesting. On the topic of despicable people, I want to talk about Venture. Not Ellen, because we're getting more Ellen now. I'm definitely curious what your thoughts are on him now that we have gotten one perspective, one chunk with his perspective. But let's talk about his daddy, because my goodness, is Straff Venture a monster. This one line where he's talking to his own son, and he says, I hope I live to see you dead, because this house is in for dire times if you ever take control. And Ellen is, all he says is, I know more than you think, father. He doesn't even bat an eye. He's just like, yeah, it's pretty typical. My dad's kind of a jerk. And for him to not even be fazed by the fact that his dad said that he wants to see his own son die, it really gives you some insight into how awful Straff Venture is. Not only that, but you find out that Straff Venture forced his 13-year-old son to do things with a Ska woman, who that woman probably didn't get to provide her consent, and Ellen definitely didn't want to partake. So just that whole situation's so messed up, and Straff Venture's just over there being the puppeteer and forcing this on people. He's just so awful. He is literally one of my favorite villains. I feel awful saying favorite, but what I mean is I love to hate this guy. I love to hate Straff Venture. He's so awful. I'm actually going to end the video here, weirdly. I know I didn't really talk too much about our main characters and our heroes. I primarily talked about the stupidity of one character and our bad guys, but I want to leave it here because it's going to be race to the finish line from here on out, and I don't really want to ask any more poll questions. I just want to know, what do you think is going to happen? What are your predictions? Do you think all our heroes are going to make it out of it alive? Do you think people are going to die? What do you think is going to go down? Because I'm very curious to see your thoughts. As always, thanks so much for watching. Thank you for those of you who have been reading this alongside me. It's been so fun to see your thoughts on it. But anyway, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you all later. Bye.